Good evening, boys and girls. It's Miss Gordon, and we are going to review all the concepts that we have learned so far this year in 5th grade. So with that being said, I should have given to you a couple of questions to do on your own, and hopefully you have done that. If not, pause the video right now and make sure you do all 5 questions on your own, and then watch this video to see how you did to check your work and if you need any help with the problem. So grab your flip video homework worksheet for the mid-module review, and let's get started. The first question, it says, circle the decimal that makes the sentence true. And over here, I can see that it says 0.56 is greater than what number? So I'm thinking about 56 hundredths. So let's first look at this first number to see if A is a possible answer. It wants to know if it's greater than 6/10. But since it's only one digit and the other 6 digits, or excuse me, 0 and 6/10 is a smaller amount of digits than 0 and 56 hundredths. I'm going to add another 0 in the place value, in the hundredths place, so I can really get a good idea. Well, I know that 56 hundredths is not bigger than 60 hundredths, so that does not make that first answer true. So we know A is not correct. So I will erase that, and we will cross out number A. Let's see if B is correct, though. It says 78 hundredths. Let's see. 78 hundredths has the same amount of digits as 56 hundredths, and I know 78 is bigger than 56. So that is not the correct answer either. So I'm going to erase that and cross off B because B is not our correct answer. Let's look at C, though. C is a little bit trickier because it has a bunch of digits. So it's 0 and 128. This time, not hundredths, but thousandths. So let's think, is 56 bigger than 128? Well, remember, we got to add a 0 in to really make our minds up true. So now we can read this as 560 thousandths versus 128 thousandths. Which one is bigger, 560 or 128? Yeah, if you said 560, you're absolutely correct. So B would make the sentence true, or excuse me, C would make the sentence true. And if we went and just checked the last one, just in case, erase this, it says 1.0. And we know 56 hundredths is not bigger than a whole because it's less than a whole, so that one wouldn't work. So the correct answer is 0.128. It would make the sentence true, or C. Now it says, using place value, explain why you chose that answer. Well, ultimately, you could write it down just like I did to compare it. So I know 56 hundredths and 0.128 128 thousandths are two different place values. So if I add an extra 0 here, I can see that 560 thousandths is much bigger than 128. All right, let's go on to the next problem. Problem number 2 says, Gary needs 100 bags of chips for a party, and each bag costs $1.09. How much will 100 bags cost? Write an equation to show your thinking. Well, first thinking, if he needs 100 bags of chips and each bag costs $1.09, what do you think the operation is going to be for this problem? If you said multiplication, you're correct. So your equation should look like mine, $1.09 times 100. So thinking about our place value chart, I'm going to draw up a quick place value chart right up here. So if I have $1, and here's my decimal point, and 9 cents, and I'm going to multiply it by 100, which means 2 groups of 10. So I'm going to shift that number 2 times bigger. So here's my 1, here's my 0, here's my 9, and my decimal point is right here. So I know I can read my new number as money, $109, and I can put zeros after the decimal point. So that's the correct answer for number 2. So check your work with mine, see if you got it right. Problem number 3 asks you to write the number in the forms below, and it gives the word form. It says it's 302 and 762 thousandths. That's tricky. They want standard and expanded. So let's see if we can write standard down first. So think 302. If I said that, 302, what would that look like? If you wrote this down, you're correct. 302. And then we have that word and, which always means our decimal point. So we'll write down our decimal point. And then let's look at the second half. 762. 762,000. So we want to land in the thousands place. With the thousands place is the third place after the decimal. So 762. So that's what your first part of the answer should look like. Check yours with mine, see if you got it right. If not, you can change it. Now let's do expanded form. Remember, in expanded form, we're going to take each digit and multiply it by its worth. So let's start with the first one. 3 is in the hundreds place, so we're going to multiply 3 times 100, or we can say 3 times 10 to the power of 2. Either way works. Plus, the next digit is a 0. We don't have to write anything down with that. Next is a 2. 2 is in the ones place, so 2 times 1. Plus, next digit is a 7. 7 is in the tenths place. Remember, you can write this two ways, either as a fraction, multiplying by 1/10, or you can say 7 times 0.01. Either way works correctly. Plus, the next digit is a 6. 6 is in the hundredths place, so we can write it as a hundredths, or 0.01. And then the last digit, oops, I'm running out of space, so I'm going to write it down here. The last digit is a 2. 2 is in the thousands place, excuse me. So we're going to say 1 over 1,000, or 2 times 0.001. So either way, your work should look very similar to mine. So this is an extended, so I should draw my little arrow here because I ran out of room on my line. Next question. Question number 4 says round to the nearest tenth. So just like always, remember that rounding rhyme. Find the place, look next door, 5 or higher, add 1 more. So now we need to figure out which digit is in the tenths place. So think the 8 is in the tens place. That's not right. The 5 is in the ones place. That's still not right. The 6 is in the tenths place. You got it. If you guess the 6, you're right. So we're going to look next door. 3 is not 5 or higher. So we're going to let the 6 rest. Everything behind it changes to zeros. Everything before it stays the same. So the correct answer should be 85.6 or 85.600. Either way is correct. Check your work with mine, see how you did. Last problem says, how else could this equation be written to show the same number? And they have 7 times 10 to the third plus 8 times 10 to the second plus 3 times 1/10 plus 5 times 1,000. Ooh, that's tricky. So let's see. First up, I'm going to look at the first number that we have. 7 times 10 to the third. Well, I know 7 times 10 to the third is the same thing as saying 7 times 1,000, right? With 3 zeros. So let's look to see what problems in my choices have that. Well, I see right off the bat, it says 700, and I know that's not correct. So I'm going to cross off A. But the next two seem to work. B says 7 times 1,000. And C says 7 times 1,000, so that would work. So let's look at the next grouping that we have. We have 8 times 10 to the second power. Well, I know 8 times 10 to the second power is the same thing as saying 8 times 100. So let's see if that works. Let's look. So 8 times, they have 8 times 10 to the first power, which is the same thing as 8 times 10. So guess what that means? B is not correct as well. 8 times 10 to the 100 is correct. So we're going to circle that one because C is the correct answer. Now it says write the standard form of the number below. All right, let's go back up and start with our highest place value, our highest equation right up here, which is 7 times 1,000. 7 times 1,000 we know is 7,000. I'm just going to leave a blank for now, or I can do this, 7,000. And then 8 times 100 is 800. Then 3 times 1/10 is 3/10. So now I have my decimal point, 3/10. And then 5 times 1,000th is 5,000. So if we had to put these numbers together, let's squish this whole thing together right here. So I have 7 for my whole number, 7,800. So let's start with that. 7,800. And now let's look at my decimal points. My decimal points, I have 3/10 and 500. So it'd be 0.305. or 305 thousandths. Awesome job, boys and girls. I hope your work matched mine and you feel pretty confident getting ready for the quiz. If not, we'll review a little more tomorrow and tomorrow night. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon.